morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Okay, and next up is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the hen-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Next we have Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love. Thank you. Have a seat, and we're now going to have announcements with Barb.
Good morning, everyone. It's so festive in here, right? Okay, welcome to Unity of Modesto. If you're a first-time visitor here at Unity of Modesto, we'd like to welcome you with a welcome package. Anybody here for the first time? No? Well, this is good still. So, upcoming events today. Birthday Sunday, celebrate December birthdays. Are we going to sing happy birthday right now?
Yes, as soon as you're done with me now.
Oh, okay. And today after service, Danielle, my daughter, is having a bake sale, and we're having baked treats in the fellowship hall, and this goes to help support No Kid Hungry. And what happened last year is she made over $330 from this wonderful church, and it equated to over 3,000 meals that children are given. So every time we give just one dime, makes a meal, because they have other sponsors that sponsor the children. So it's really an amazing project. And I was just even hearing on the radio last night how this is, there's 17 million children in America who go hungry every day. So it's for a good cause. It's Christmas time, and they're baked goodies. You don't have to bake this year. Believe me, I was up till 3:30. This would work. So we need some volunteers. Next one up is we need some volunteers. The preschool committee. We are looking for 2 more people from the congregation to help support and volunteer to make up this committee. We have one, Maria has volunteered, and we have some board members on the committee also. And the preschool committee will be responsible for overseeing the entire preschool project from start to finish. That way they can answer any questions you might have. There's always kind of that support. So if you need to come to anybody with any question about the project, if you'd like to be on the committee, or if you have any questions, please see Laura in the church office during regular work hours. It shouldn't take up too much of your time. We're not asking you to paint or anything, just kind of oversee some details. Also, we are having a Christmas Eve candlelight service. Cindy is requesting 3 to 4 volunteers to read a passage and light a candle during the Christmas Eve services. If you're coming to the evening service and willing to help Cindy during the service, please let Laura know in the office so she can send the info to Cindy. The choir. Next up is the choir. Today we're starting choir practice to perform for Christmas. If you enjoy singing and are willing to lend your voice to our choir, please stay after service and join us for choir practice. Here we have Love in Action. We've been very blessed this past year with so many congregants stepping up to keep our activities and fundraisers going. With 2017 coming to an end, we're looking forward to another fabulous year here at Unity in Modesto. And once again, we are opening the Love in Action activities up to the congregation to bring your ideas and support your favorite activities. We've provided a sign-up sheet on the back table as well as our event ideas. If you think of something new, go ahead and sign up to put your love into action. Team up with a partner, find a friend, and pick a month. Next week on December 10th, we have Reverend Gary Wold returning to speak, and he will be sharing a talk titled, If You Make a Difference, You Are the Gift. I love that. That sounds wonderful. December 17th, we're having our Christmas auction and potluck. Once again, we're holding a Christmas auction, which always proves to be a lot of fun for the congregation, as well as it raises money for the church. Feel free to start bringing in auction items. They will be collected in the office until just before the auction. The sign-up sheet for the potluck is on the table in the back of the sanctuary, and feel free to sign up for that also. I'll be bringing cookies. December 24th, Christmas Eve services. This year, the Christmas Eve falls on a Sunday, and therefore we're going to having 2 services. Our regular 10 a.m. service will be presented by our beloved Reverend Nancy McNatt, and our 6 o'clock evening candlelight service will be presented by Reverend Cindy Ferris. We hope you can make it to one of these special Christmas service times. Prayer pilgrims. Will the prayer pilgrims please stand up? Oh, there you are. Great. These are our prayer pilgrims who are available to pray with you after our services. Our prayer pilgrims are committed to providing spiritual support to congregants and visitors as requested. The ones wearing stoles are on duty today and will be to the sides and rear of the sanctuary. Prayer pilgrims also make monthly wellness calls to all congregants and new attendees who are on the call list. So if you'd like to have a telephone call, then just, let us know. And about today's speaker. Today we have Reverend Nancy McNatt, and Nancy has been an ordained minister for over 34 years. She's been a beloved member of our community for the past 9 years. often filling in as our guest speaker. She's a great blessing to our community, and we are so glad she is here to share a lovely message with us today. Thank you. So, if you have a birthday in December, I think you need to come up. If you have a birthday in December, you come to the front because we have a special cake for you. Oh, and we're not going to miss Jerry either.
No bashful people around.
What day are you?
29.
Oh.
I saw you on my calendar. I just couldn't remember what day.
15.
So you're here. 20th. You're that.
You are?
Oh. You're first so far. And Jerry's the 24th. So he's
Oh,
here.
my.
He's here. I'm the 29th. There you go.
Oh, see, there's
All right. My hands are cold.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you, you're wonderful. God is blessing you now.
Happy birthday. Give all these people an extra hug because their whole life they've had to compete with Christmas. You know, I have grandchildren that do that.
Nancy,
I know.
before you start, I just want to let everybody know that I'm ordering gift cards today. So if you haven't told me what you want to have on hand for gifts, let me know today so I can make sure I have them for you.
Right. Yeah, send people a gift card for something to eat. That's all. Okay, now if you'll open your bulletins and look down at the bottom, we have our December affirmation. And let's see, it's on. Yeah. We have a new, does it just need to be turned up a little bit or something? You guys can turn me on and off from back there.
Box for a second.
Give you a box. Oh, that little things. Okay. In the meantime, let's all say together our December affirmation. In this joyful season, I shine my light. I focus my energy on being the light of peace. And now I think you better turn me down a little. And now, Margaret, one of our lovely prayer pilgrims, will read to us from the Daily Word.
The reading for Sunday, December 3rd. Spiritual understanding is always available through my Christ self. My mind knows what it knows through the input of my senses and experiences. While practical choices can easily be made through this knowledge, spiritual understanding is not a function of mind. I access it when I am prayerfully centered in the energy of my heart. It is not always specific, and it may not seem immediately relevant. Spiritual understanding provides me with a feeling of security and peace, a sense of being exactly where I am meant to be at any given moment. Spiritual understanding guides me through every choice. In faith, I know that God's power is greater than any circumstance, and I call upon that energy for every choice or decision. Call to me, and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. That's from Jeremiah 33:3.
Thank you, Margaret. You're welcome. And now let's relax as we listen to some music and prepare for a little meditation.
that mourns in lowly exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come thou wisdom from on high, and order all things far and nigh. To us the path of knowledge show, and cause us in her ways to go. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Let us relax, dropping off everything that's outside this building in this moment in time, all those concerns about it's December and what we think we need to do. Let us just set those outside the door. We'll pick up those thoughts on our way out. Let us be here now in peace. Sit comfortably. Remember where we are, in a sanctuary. A sanctuary for our heart and our soul. And this is the season, a season with Christmas trees, and underneath, gifts. Feel right now as though you're approaching a special spot with a gift for you. This is one of the many, many gifts that God has for you. Reach out, pick up a lovely looking package, and open it. And know that inside is that which you need right now, at this moment, more than anything in the world. It may be peace. It may be love. It may be a sense of approval, acceptance. It may be the absolute certainty that you are never alone. Christ Spirit in you is with you all the time. Whatever it is that you need is yours. Yours alone. You keep it. And remember, for a few moments of quiet time every day this week, that you have that gift graciously given all the time. Accept it. Accept it. And take joy in it. So it is. This morning, I wanted to share some ideas from a book that I read this summer, one that was written with dual purposes, to entertain and to pass on some life lessons that were given to the main character as gifts. It seems fitting for this season of gift giving, and it had me contemplate the many ways that we learn lessons, the many gifts from God given to us for inspiration in the form of voices from books, from movies. Think about all those Christmas movies with major messages. Friends, a chance remark. We never know where the gift from God is coming. When we acknowledge that God is everywhere and uses many methods to reach us, we can more often be open to the gifts of God, coming from many, many sources. The book I read is called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. The storyline is one that takes the main character, a man named David, through a series of experiences. Early in the book, David has reached an extremely low point in his life. He's lost his job due to the sale of the company that he worked for. He's able to find only a part-time job. The bills are coming due, and then his daughter needed immediate medical care, and his health insurance had expired. He's questioning, why me? He feels desperate with no immediate answers, no purpose in life. And he feels helpless. He feels picked on by life. And what he has experienced is totally unjust. It's not fair. It's not his fault. And he is in a deep pit emotionally. He's contemplating whether life is worth continuing. And then he goes through a series of time travel. Now, this is fiction, remember. Time travel experiences, encountering famous people and learning life lessons along the way. Lessons that are practical, inspirational, and spiritually based. These can give us some inspiration too. So I wanted to share them today. The first place that David is transported to is Potsdam, Germany, in July 1945. And he recognizes the man in the room as Harry Truman. Then he remembers that the meeting is going to take place with Truman, Stalin, and Churchill to discuss the use of the atomic bomb. David and Truman had a discussion then about tough decisions and responsibility. Truman explained to David that he was the first president since the beginning of modern warfare to have experienced combat. And Truman remembered feeling that he would give anything to have stopped the suffering and the death that he saw in World War I. So Truman had to weigh and consider and decide. And his gift to David was the first decision that leads to success. Truman's phrase, "The buck stops here." Some of you will be familiar with it. We learn that the beginning of wisdom is to accept responsibility for our own problems, our own past, and then free ourselves to move on to something bigger, a brighter future. When we can stop saying, why me, and it's not my fault. When we stop blaming our parents, our spouse, our boss, or others for our current situation. When we stop blaming our educational level, genetics, or circumstances, then we're preparing ourselves to get unstuck from any lack of progress towards a goal or a purpose in life. We can repeat Truman's phrase, "The buck stops here," accept responsibility for our past and for future success. We can look at the fact that where we are today is a result of our own choices. We chose where to get an education, which place to move to, where to work, what to buy, who to listen to, what to eat, what to believe. Our current lives are the result of a long list of daily choices. So we can take responsibility and say, my life, where I am today, is a result of decisions that I've made, and they've affected me physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. All these decisions have been governed by my thinking. And I can now choose to think in a constructive manner, thinking of solutions, seeking the positive. The buck stops here with me, I control my thoughts, and I abandon those terms, why me, and it's not fair, to ask, why not me? I am capable of good decisions, and I'm accepting responsibility. The second experience that David is whisked off to or dissolved into takes him much further back in time at the feet of Solomon, as the scene unfolds when Solomon decides which woman gets to keep a baby, demonstrating wisdom. When David has his opportunity to talk with Solomon, he asks how it is that Solomon gained wisdom. Solomon's answer is he doesn't have the answers. He surrounds himself with wise men and women to help him find answers. He listens to them, he thinks, he prays to God, he thinks some more. His advice to David is to seek wisdom. And he has to repeat that before David gets it. Seek wisdom. We can't run out and buy a box of wisdom. More's the pity. We need to be open and seeking. We need to find the counsel of wise men and women. Knowing that sensible instruction is a life-giving fountain, and it helps us escape traps. We can search writings and listen to our experienced peers. The gift that Solomon gives David is the advice to seek wisdom. We can actively search for wisdom, knowing that our past cannot be changed, but we can change our future by looking for the wisdom to change our actions today. We can train our eyes and ears to read and listen to books and recordings, and the ones that bring about positive changes in our relationships and in our circumstances. We can promise ourselves to no longer bombard ourselves with materials in our mind that feed doubt and fears. We can choose our friends with care and associate with people we admire. We can listen to the counsel of wise men and women and work for the good of others, knowing that an attitude of service to others attracts people into our lives, and then they bring their wisdom. From the quiet contemplation of attaining wisdom, David is sent to a place of unbelievably loud noise, and he finds himself in the middle of a battle, and he quickly realizes this is the Civil War, Gettysburg no less. And here he meets a Colonel Joshua Chamberlain and witnesses an action that is a turning point for the battle and the future of the United States. Colonel Chamberlain was leading a small group of the Union Army that was working desperately to defend a hill against Lee's Army of the South. This was July 1863, hot and humid. Chamberlain had been a school teacher in Maine, no military background, and he was now in the fight for his life. More than half his regiment was dead, many of the remainder were wounded, and he was outnumbered 5-1. And the battle had been down to face-to-face fighting. He ordered a quick assessment of the ammunition available, and he found they'd soon be out of bullets. He felt he could not withdraw, because if the rebel army overran them, the Army of the Potomac would be forfeited, and the battle would be lost. He assessed the situation, made a decision, and ordered his men to fix their bayonets and then charge. He stood up on the wall, exposing himself to the enemy, and he led his men over it, charging at a run. The Confederate troops, when they saw the leader of the opposition on top of the wall, they stopped, unsure of what was happening. When the 20th Marine Regiment charged, the Rebs turned and ran. Many of them threw down loaded weapons. They thought reinforcements must have come and been brought in, because it was not within the realm of possibility that a beaten regiment would charge. In less than 10 minutes, A ragged group of men without ammunition captured the remnants of the 15th and 47th Alabama, over 400 men. Because one man decided to charge. The example, with one decision that you make, you can literally change the world. That battle turned the war. If the Union had lost, there would be no United States, no large, powerful country to assist other countries in World War I or World War II, and. The gift that Colonel Chamberlain gave David was this statement: I am a person of action. We can study people who accomplish their goals, large and small, and we can realize they act. We can decide to stop moaning over any lost opportunity or problems that have occurred in the past and choose to act. We can affirm that we are a person of action, that we move quickly and develop a habit of lively behavior, walking with a spring in our step and a smile on our face. We can repeat to ourselves that wealth, prosperity, and good health come to the person who acts. We are inspiring and leading others whenever we do so. And we move forward, acting on wise decisions. We do not fear failure. That exists only for the person who quits. And we do not quit. We act, and we move forward. The next experience for David was at sea. He was placed on that ship, the Santa Maria, with Christopher Columbus. Here he met someone who had a passion, a belief, and did not give up. He heard how Columbus spent 19 years to find the sponsorship for his voyage. 19 years of public ridicule, discouragement, and humiliation. He met a man who had convictions and the determination to rise above the opinions of others to follow his heart, including months of sailing across an unknown ocean to finally find a new world. How many of us could retain a goal or a dream for 19 years and then take off across the ocean to the unknown? Columbus's gift to David was the example of a decided heart. We want to search within ourselves to find out what our visions of the future are. What do we see in the future for ourselves, our family, our community, our country, our church, the environment? What do we feel passionate about? And what could we dedicate ourselves to? Let us consider and choose. Find a goal, a dream, and dedicate ourselves to it. Work each day in whatever way we can to take one more step along the way, in whatever manner we can, just one more step on that pathway, rising above the opinions and criticisms of others and the negativity of people who don't see a dream. If you don't have a dream, you can't have a dream come true. Think about it. They think about that in South Pacific. If you don't have a dream, you can't have a dream come true. So Columbus inspired us to have a decided heart, set our course, act on it, and never give up. From the Atlantic Ocean, David is sent to a small room in a warehouse in Amsterdam in 1943. And here he meets Anne Frank. He finds a cheerful girl who is searching for the good in any way she can, closed in a room with 8 people hiding from the Nazis. He sees that she has made an effort to add beauty to the area with pictures that she taped up all around, and to act in a way that is pleasant and supportive. He even attempts to point out all the problems they're facing and the rough conditions under which they're living. And she points out that our lives are fashioned by choices, and our choices make us. When they discuss fear, Anne tells him that her father says, "Fear is a poor chisel with which to carve out tomorrow." I love that phrase. Fear is a poor chisel with which to carve out tomorrow. She understands the reality, the horrible war, and she deals with it by saying, "This too shall pass." Anne's gift to David is the statement, "Today I will choose to be happy." We can look at this example and realize that happiness is a choice. Happiness is the end result of certain thoughts and activities, which actually bring about a chemical reaction in our bodies, and the reaction results in a euphoria that is under our control. Let's make a decision to each day be happy, to greet the day, if possible with laughter. If not, if you're going through challenges, at least greet the day with a smile. You might start with a little smile to yourself in the mirror in the morning. Of course, the way I look some mornings, that's more laughter than smile. What we want to do is create a new feeling within ourselves for enthusiasm, whatever this day is presenting to us. And then be determined to share this attitude with a smile for everyone we meet as we go through the day. We can remind ourselves of the many gifts God has given us and feel grateful, appreciative, and respectful. Think of Anne Frank in her situation, finding the good. And then look at our lives and find so much to be grateful for. From that warehouse in Amsterdam, David is sent to a tent back to Gettysburg. And this time it's to dedicate the area for a cemetery and hear Abraham Lincoln deliver the Gettysburg Address, which Lincoln thought would be quickly forgotten. He thought it was a nothing little speech. Lincoln and David compare notes about being at the worst times in their lives. Lincoln had lost his son Willie, and at the moment his son Tad was extremely ill. And then, of course, there was the war. Lincoln had been through 9 generals for a chief of his army, all ineffective in one way or another. Then he appointed Grant and was roundly criticized. People complained that Grant drank too much. But, said Lincoln, he fights as a general should. And if he knew what Grant was drinking, he'd send a few cases to the other generals. Lincoln's life was a history of so-called failures. Look it up sometime. Bankruptcy and lost this and lost this. He never won anything until he got to be president of the United States. He was often vilified by the press, and he was roundly criticized for his Emancipation Proclamation. But he had strong feelings for what was right, and he rose above opinions and criticisms to make wise decisions to the best of his ability and then act on them. When David asked Lincoln about his plan for after the war, Lincoln spoke of forgiveness. How forgiveness is not a reward that must be earned or requested. It is a gift to be given. When we grant forgiveness, we free our own spirit to release any anger or hatred that we've harbored in our hearts. When we grant forgiveness to others, it's a gift to ourselves that releases anchors of the past, and it frees us to happily pursue our future. The gift Lincoln gave was the statement, "I will greet this day with a forgiving spirit." We can make a determination to stop hoarding forgiveness and instead spread it around, starting with ourselves. We can recognize that quite often our greatest enemy is ourselves, and commit to stop replaying in our minds every mistake, every miscalculation, every little stumble that we've ever made. We commit to stop wasting any time whatsoever in self-berating for any goal not yet reached or any self-perceived lack of achievement. We forgive ourselves. We forgive those who criticize us. We forgive anyone and everyone, even if they have not requested it, and even when we feel they may not deserve it. We deserve it, and we greet each day with a forgiving spirit. It is so warm in here. Is there anything we can do to open some doors or something? I know. Whew. The next experience that David has is quite, more so than others, otherworldly. He awakens in what seems to be a giant warehouse of rooms that are unending. The first room is filled with photographs of people. Then he finds rooms filled with clothes, bicycles, furniture, or ownership papers, and even plans, designs, descriptions of inventions. And he encounters a very tall being with wings who introduces himself as Gabriel. Gabriel explains that he's an archangel, and he tours David through this warehouse inventory, finally explaining that this is the place of never was. This is the accumulation of all the things, experiences, inventions, medical cures that never were. This is the result of a loss of faith, a loss of persistence. This is the area of things that were abandoned before they were experienced because people thought they didn't have the time, didn't have the money, didn't have the energy, didn't have the know-how, blah, blah, blah. To have something or create something, all the good things that we close ourselves off from when we get discouraged, lack faith or confidence, when we give up, all the abandoned hopes, dreams, or even small rewards in life, from a modest physical item to a medical cure, all abandoned. Gabriel says all these losses are the results of circumstances. We let circumstances run our lives or determine what we can or cannot have or do, instead of realizing we are in control. Our emotions and determination are not controlled by circumstances. We control those. Circumstances do not push or pull. They are daily lessons to be studied. We can apply our knowledge and wisdom to circumstances to bring about a greater tomorrow. Someone who's depressed may be spending too much time thinking about the way things were or circumstances or current challenges, and not nearly enough time on how things could be, looking to the future. So where are we wasting time looking at the past and being stuck, or even now and being stuck, instead of looking ahead, planning for, and then acting on the things that we want to bring about? We can set our minds to a good and healthy future and know that each day we make changes that last forever as we fit together all the puzzle pieces of life to create great experiences. We can hold fast to our dreams, stay the course, persist without exception. When others quit, when exhaustion sets in, we realize we're stronger than that. We set high goals to create now and accept now the life that we truly want to experience. We focus on results and continue the process. We stop doubting our beliefs or believing our doubts. We have faith in our future, and we persist until we succeed. So these are the gifts, the life lessons and inspirations. From Harry Truman, we realize that the buck stops here. I'm responsible for my past and my future. From King Solomon, we learn to seek wisdom, surround ourselves with wise friends, and work to serve others. From Colonel Chamberlain, we're inspired to be a person of action. Seize the moment, choose now. From Christopher Columbus, we learn to have a decided heart and know our destiny is assured. From Anne Frank, we're inspired to choose to be happy each day and maintain a grateful spirit. From Abraham Lincoln, we learn to be forgiving, beginning with ourselves. And from the lesson of all that is missed in life, because we accepted a circumstance and it can't happen because we commit to accept, to have faith in our goals, to persist without exception and enjoy our achievements. Now, which gifts do you want to open this season? Which gifts are you accepting? Which gifts will you enjoy and share with others? Whichever you choose, enjoy the experience and the acceptance. Thank you. And then in a little bit, when we're going through the process of doing the tree, I have a little gift for you, and that is a set of affirmations I made up that will remind us of those different lessons.
Nancy, what was the name of that book again?
The Traveler's Gift. And it was so good that, Gary, I can tell you it's on the list for the book clubs now. It's such a good book. Jerry's in a book club. Okay, now we're going to have some special music and then the prayer box.
One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, yet you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's Door. It's Mohammed, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power, one power. One power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for its love most deep. It's one power, one power, one power. What we are is one power. Oh, it's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
Thank you, thank you. Gary, would you please bring up the prayer box? Remind us of that lovely process and say our prayer.
And as we probably all know, but always need to be reminded, the names that are in here and the names of those who put the names in here are prayed over here for 30 days by our prayer team. These then go to Silent Unity, where hundreds of prayers are done each day for 30 days. Now that is a whole lot of power. So when you put the name in here, it's not just, hi, I did it today. No, it's I did it for 30 ever increasing days of power. And then 30 more ever increasing days of power. So we know that whoever is mentioned in this box is blessed and guided to their greatest good, to their greatest fulfillment. And those who added names are given strength and understanding. But also know that many days, many times, a name does not make it into the box for whatever reason. And all of us in the prayer team recognize this, and in one way or another, expand our prayers for those named herein to those who are in the congregation, in the community, that are in dis-ease, in discomfort, discontent. And we put our blessings on them also. So know that everyone at all times is blessed and lifted up. And the truth of divine love dissolves away the disses and leaves everyone at ease, in comfort and content. So it is. Amen.
Thank you. Now we have over here our heritage tree, and it's been building up for a long time. And what we have are ornaments, and some of you have your ornaments there, and some of you may need to create an ornament. And we're going to have you come up by, I think, by decades as a little music plays. We can't do it year by year. It would take us forever. And find your ornament and place it on the tree. And while people are doing that and listening to a little music, I'm going to be handing out the affirmations. So everyone who is here, who's been a member of Unity and has their ornament there prior to 1980, would you please come up and find your ornament and put it on? Prior to 1980 is going to be first. Oh, that would be nice. Okay, how about people from 1980 to 1989 been members here? Go over and put their ornament on the tree. Donna. Okay, how about 1990 to 1999 members? Go put your ornament on the tree. How about from 2000 to 2010? If you've been a member and have an ornament over there. And if you're new and you don't have an ornament, you go home and find a photo and then create an ornament. And your photo can be from 20 or 30 years ago. That's okay. Because I did that. Okay, you're all set. Do you have one? Okay. Do the girls want yours? Okay, anybody that hasn't been over there yet, go find your ornament and hang it on the tree. A little later, we will find the ornaments that belong to people that have made their transition, and we'll put them on too. So the tree will be filled with lots of wonderful members. You may have to look, if you're like me and brought a photo from a long time ago, you look at it and go, who's that? And after service, if you feel like helping to put some of those ornaments on, for people that aren't here, you can put those on. And after service, we're going to be decorating the tree over here. So the deal is, you sing the peace song, you run over and buy a bunch of cookies, stuff your mouth, and then come back here and help decorate the tree. Okay? Did you get that pattern? Okay, do we have a tree decorated there? And now we'll take up the offering. So if you take in your hand your donation, something wonderful, and let's say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Please join me in singing.
My My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000 thousandfold as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes. My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
Let us be ever so thankful, filled with gratitude for all the good, all the gifts that we've been given in life, and our ability to share. We share because our cup runneth over. We share from abundance. And as we do so, more gifts and good and wonderful things come tumbling into our lives. And for that we say thank you. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Yes. And now it's the prayer of protection. If you, everybody stand up and take a nice deep breath. Let's get rid of that warm air that was in here. And let's say the protection, prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's make a nice big circle and sing the peace song before we buy cookies and decorate cake.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step